Spooky season has started, and tonight I'm going to feature something that I have never done before. We're going to be checking out Toronto's Haunted Harbour Ghost Tour. Now this is actually brought to you by a company called Haunted Walk. I've never featured it on this channel before, but I have actually done one of these tours before at Niagara-on-the-Lake. They do different walking ghost tours across, a lot of major cities. I know we have some in Toronto, like the Distillery District, etc. It's also, from what I understand, in collaborative effort with a company called Pirate Life. It's about an hour-and-a-half tour where they essentially take you on a boat around Toronto Harbour, tell you different, ghost stories, some creepy things that are living under the lake, etc. This is super exciting. I've never done this before. It combines two things I love, which is being on the water as well as, spooky season, scary stuff, haunted stuff. Anyway, I can't wait. I'm gonna go get changed, and we're gonna head down to 1 Queens Quay East where we're gonna get the boat. We'll see you there. So my first piece of advice when coming down here is Toronto can be unpredictably busy. So make sure you do leave with enough time to get there. They say that, for example, our time is 7:30. They recommend 15 minutes in advance. So we have to be there for 7:15, which is almost 7:15 now. We did do a quick little pit stop. My words are not working right now. At the Westin Hotel, which is right near there. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna head over there as well. Second piece of advice is that you should bring some kind of a sweater or something. You will be on the lake, even if the weather temperature is good. Just keep in mind that when you're on the lake, it can get a little bit cooler. So make sure you have some kind of a sweater or something, just in case. Wear layers. Okay, so we got here on time, and they are waiting an extra 10 minutes for people who are running late, so wouldn't have rushed. But anyway, just waiting for our boat to get here, and starting to get dark. Really excited. Okay, also another side note, I'm going to do my best not to ruin this for other people who are going to be taking this tour. I don't want to give away any of the, the secrets or any of the information they're going to get on the tour, because that's going to kill it for you guys if you're going to take this. So this is going to be basically just a video that shows the experience, the overall, what I thought about it, tips and whatnot to doing this, but I don't want to give away too much of the actual tour itself. So just keep that in mind. There's going to be no spoilers, hopefully anyway.
My friends, welcome. How are we all doing tonight? Look, that is where we shall be visiting very soon. And as I mentioned before, a terrible murder took place here. We are fortunate tonight. The lighthouse does not appear to be on, but keep a lookout. If it is, we are in for some terrible things. This, my friends, is Gibraltar Point Lighthouse. There are many hobbies that require a lot of bravery. Skydiving, bungee jumping, getting on a boat with a stranger and listening to ghost stories.
All right, we are halfway through the tour. We are on the island right now. There is a bathroom break, so if you're like me or like any other dog that needs to pee every time they walk by a fire hydrant, there is an opportunity for that. So we are gonna go do that now. Okay, but if you are going to pee on the island, be aware that these guys are everywhere in here, like everywhere. I'm getting out of here. Okay, off the boat now, walking around trying to find something to eat and drink. A couple thoughts. I will give my final thoughts tomorrow, like once I've actually had time to sort of gather myself and figure out all my, thoughts and feelings and whatnot. We had a lot of fun. It was a great experience. Really enjoyed it overall. A couple things I would note. There were a lot of like pauses where there was not a lot of like ghost stories happening, where you're just on the boat, just sort of hearing the waves and this and that. It was still nice, but when you're paying for a boat ghost tour, expect to hear more ghost stories. Another story was talking about Lake Erie, which we're not on Lake Erie, so it had absolutely nothing to do with where we were on. It was an interesting story, don't get me wrong, but given where we are, we're on Lake Ontario here right now. Like, I don't care what's going on in Lake Erie. It just didn't really make sense for where we were, but it was still very interesting. I will say it was very interesting. Overall, though, as I said, we did really still enjoy ourselves. Like I said, we are going to grab a bite. We're going to grab a drink, a quick bite somewhere, and I'll give you my final thoughts tomorrow, though, of just, the overall experience, what we thought. Stay tuned. Talk then. Have a good night. Talk to you in the morning. Bye. Avast ye mateys. I'm sure I didn't use that right, but I wanted to add it anyway because I thought it'd be cute. So anyway, let's just move along. As promised, I did want to give you guys some sort of final thoughts once I had some time to kind of mull it over and think it over and not just give you, right off the bat. I did give you some of my final thoughts when we left the boat, but I thought, let me mull it over and think it over. I tend to like doing it that way, and I tend to also not like following any script, so that's why I also tend to ramble and go on. So I'm going to try not to do this with this particular video just because, try to keep it short and sweet. And, if I keep talking, this won't even be out before Halloween anyway. So let's get right into it. So as I alluded to in the beginning, this is actually a collaborative effort between two companies, that being Pirate Life and Haunted Walk. Pirate Life, I've never actually done any events with before, but I know they have like an escape room on a boat called like Escape the Ghost Ship or something like that. They also have some kids activities where they have like actors and everything. This particular, host or, narrator actually said he worked for Pirate Life. Now on the other side of that, Haunted Walk obviously does these, haunted walks, ghost tours, etc. We actually did do one in Niagara on the Lake a couple of years ago. I'll get into that a little bit later. But they do all over the place. You can do them in like the Distillery District. They have I think the Elgin Theater is like a haunted theater, or allegedly haunted theater, that you could do one in as well. So there's a few options for you there. Oh, and Pioneer Village, they do one around this time of the year for Halloween for Pioneer Village as well, which I actually want to check that one out. I've heard some good things about that, but anyway, we'll get into that later. So right off the bat, I am going to get into the price because I think that helps kind of explain the rest of the experience. This is about $50 a person. Now, we did use a coupon code that I think it has expired by now. I do apologize. I think it was Spooky Waters or something like that. I think it did expire by now though. But honestly, for the value, I would say it's there. Just the boat tour alone, of the Toronto Islands, and you got to think you got two people there. You got the captain, you got the narrator, you got this boat that takes gas, etc. So I think that alone kind of speaks to the value that's in this. I thought it was very well priced. Our tickets were a little bit cheaper. I think ours were around $40 or so a person because of this discount code. So as I said, the value is definitely there. This is a very intimate experience. There's only, I think, around 10 or so people on the actual boat itself. I want to say including the narrator and the captain. It's either 10 or 12. It was a very small number anyway. So it is very intimate. You can ask questions. You're going to be asked questions as well. It's participation. So yeah, it was a very cool experience. A couple of housekeeping things. First of all, you're going to want to go to 1 Queens Quay East. That's where you're actually going to get the boat from. There are parking areas around there. They also recommend showing up at least 15 minutes beforehand. There you can kind of just hang out, wait for everyone to arrive. If you need to use the washroom, we did use it at the Harbour Castle, I believe the hotel is called. But there are some places around there. I definitely recommend using the washroom because, you know, you're going to be on a boat, etc. I also strongly recommend you wear layers or at least bring some kind of a jacket or something warm with you. You know, we were there in September, still fairly warm out, but as soon as we hit the water, the temperature dropped very quickly. And then, you know, obviously when the sun goes down, it's darker out, etc. You know, you're going to be walking around the Toronto Island a little bit. Even shoe-wise, I'd say careful on your shoe choice because, you know, if it is a bit muddy or you're walking on docks, you're walking around a little bit. So I'm going to say also, you know, be mindful of your shoes. I wouldn't wear heels or anything like that that's uncomfortable. It's not a whole lot of walking, but I would just say be mindful of it and try and wear somewhat comfortable shoes that, you know, also if they do maybe possibly get a little bit dirty or possibly a little bit muddy, that you're not going to be completely gutted about. So just keep that in mind as well. They do serve drinks on the boat. It's somewhat almost like an honor system. You can kind of just help yourself and grab, you know, what you want from the cooler. It was basically like beers, like canned beers, some canned coolers, like vodka-based coolers. And pretty much when you leave, you're supposed to basically, like, you know, when you leave the ship, you tell the person that is sort of at the front, not front desk because we're outside, but anyway, at the front, you pretty much just tell them what you drank and they'll charge you for it accordingly. Very much the honor system. Nobody was really guarding that or nobody was really monitoring that. So if you are drinking something, be good, make sure you pay for it. That said, I can't speak to all boat tours, but I know for ours, I brought a bottle of, you know, ginger ale with me that may or may not have had a little bit of tequila in it. But yeah, they didn't question anything. We were able to bring things on with us. They never said anything. Now, that being said, don't, you know, bring a bunch of booze with you and act like, you know, a fool. You don't want to bother anybody else and ruin their time. You don't want to ruin your own time either. And, you know, probably shouldn't be encouraging, you know, drinking in public either. But just be mindful, you know, be respectful. Yeah. Now, there is a washroom break about halfway through. So you're going to be going to one area on the island where you're going to see, I think it's Gibraltar, the lighthouse there, Gibraltar Point, Gibraltar Lighthouse, whatever it's called. You are going to be seeing that. And then after that, you will be taken on the boat again and taken over Toronto Island again. And you will have a bathroom break. The bathrooms are probably the scariest part of the trip. They are infested with these massive spiders. So just be mindful of that. If you don't like spiders, they are in there. But yeah, we escaped unscathed. So just be aware. But it is good to know in case you are one of those people who's like me, who, you know, just the thought of not being able to go for a pee just gives me all kinds of anxiety. So yeah, you're going to be able to go for, you know, your washroom break about halfway through. I still would recommend going before you go on the boat just in case. You never know. But yeah, just be mindful that halfway through there will be a washroom break. Now, I wouldn't be me if I didn't give you a couple of picky points, just because I do like to give you guys the full story. I don't like just to sort of give you one side or the other. I do like to kind of give you a well-rounded, you know, review. Again, I really enjoyed this. I would definitely recommend it. I would definitely do it again. But a couple picky things I would like to mention. I did find that we were on the boat for lengths of time where, while I was enjoying, you know, the views of the Toronto skyline, I was enjoying the relaxing atmosphere of just, you know, being on a boat and just nice weather with my friends and just enjoying myself. I was expecting more narration. I was expecting us to hear more things about what we were passing by, or, you know, more stories. We basically went from harbourfront to the Toronto Island without really hearing any stories at all until we finally actually got to the island. Then, you know, there was a couple of stories about, like, see, again, I don't want to ruin any spoilers or anything like that, so I'm not going to get to details of what we learned about, but I did find that we sort of went longer periods of time than I expected without hearing anything. Now, was this just how it was planned? Was this just because the narrator forgot things? Was it because this, that? I have no idea. And I will say the narrator was really great and didn't break character, but I will get into him momentarily. So I'm not blaming him, just, you know, want to put that out there. I also found it strange, and I mentioned this when we got off the boat as well. I found it odd that he mentioned something that happened in Lake Erie. Obviously, because we were at Lake Ontario, you know, we're at Toronto Harbour and Lake Ontario, and, you know, we heard a story about Lake Erie. Again, the story was really interesting. It was a cool story, but it was sort of like, why are we hearing about this when we're on Lake Ontario? Surely there are many, many stories on Lake Ontario, the Toronto Islands, the Toronto Harbourfront, anywhere. I mean, the city's been around for a while. There's, lots of construction, lots of people. Surely there are, some other creepy and scary stories that you could have, told us about. And not even necessarily creepy or scary, maybe just interesting facts or just things just to note that maybe gave us a little bit of history. But yeah, those are a couple maybe minor picky things. And you know what? Because you might get a different actor, narrator for your trip, maybe your experience will be different. Comment below if you have gone on it, or someone's been on or anything like that. I'm curious if maybe your experience was different than ours. But as I said, not faulting the narrator, not faulting the experience at all, we still did honestly have a fantastic time. Now the whole experience took about an hour and a half or so, but obviously the question remains, is this spot right for you? If you are like me and, a fan of spooky season and a fan of, all things Halloween and scary and creepy and things like that, then this is definitely for you. If you are a fan of, being on the water, being on a nice little boat, it's a small boat, but being on a boat, sort of cruising the harbor fronts and things like that, again, I think this is going to be for you. If you're into like history or weird facts or things like that, again, I think this is going to be for you. If you are perhaps afraid of the water, if you don't like being scared or spooked out or creeped out or anything like that, you might want to sit this one out. That said, I felt completely comfortable, completely safe the entire time. I never felt like we were put in any position where we were unsafe or something bad was going to happen to us. I honestly felt they went over the safety precautions of being on the boat, life jackets, this, that, and the other. I think you're going to be okay, but don't take my word for it. Now, as mentioned, we did do a similar experience maybe about 3 years ago or so in Niagara-on-the-Lake, where we just did a walking tour with this ghost walk group. I will say that I don't want to go as far as to say that ghosts are real and I'm a believer and it's not. I'm absolutely open to the idea that there's more to life than what we can see with the naked eye. I, have had some strange experiences myself that, one would maybe think, could that have been a ghost? Could that have been something, creepy, spooky, whatever? It's entirely possible. Again, I'm completely open to the idea that there's more out there. I do believe, at the end of the day, we are all energy. Unfortunately, we're not all going to be here forever, and, we are all unfortunately going to pass away at some point. Energy doesn't just like disappear, right? It's got to go somewhere, and that's why I do feel like there's absolutely a possibility that there's something else out there. And I think that it's also comforting to think and to know that, maybe there is more to life than just what we can see and this and that. We all look for signs when, someone close to us passes away. So anyway, I'm open to the experience. That said, we had a ghost tour, a ghost walk tour guide in Niagara-on-the-Lake who, took us all around, was showing us this, that, and the other, telling us all these stories, everything. And I was like super into it and everything, because we actually were staying at the Old Angel Inn, which is supposed to be one of like the most haunted places. And we were apparently in the most haunted room of the Old Angel Inn as well. So party. But yeah, we didn't get any experiences, fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it. But it was still very interesting. That said, after hearing all these, crazy stories and everything that was like super, super interesting, the tour everyone left and everything, and it was just us and the tour guide. And I just said, I was asking her questions and she just didn't really seem too receptive. And then I said to her, do you believe in this stuff? And she was just like, no. And I'm thinking, I felt so that this person, I spent, an hour and a half or so with this person going all over the place, explaining all these things to me, only to find out that she didn't even believe anything that she was saying. So it kind of took a little bit of the fun out of it. Even if she didn't believe, I feel like she could have at least just lied to me and said that, she did, or she was open to it, or she didn't know, or something. It was just a flat out no. And I thought, okay. I will say our narrator on our boat tour, he was really good. He never broke character. He, had this German accent that he was using, or, somewhat vaguely Bavarian or whatever you want to call him. And he didn't break character. Even when I was just talking to him one-on-one, if, while people were in the washroom, I would ask him a couple questions just for the, just so I would know, or for the sake of this video as well. And he kept that accent and he kept that voice going, and he really did sell it. I think he was a theater student from, I don't remember the name of it, but he, as I said, he's gonna play A Pirate Life. But again, he kept character, and it added to the experience for me, at least. Whether he thinks it's all a bunch of bull or not, he still made me believe. Anyway, that's probably going to do it for this review of the Toronto Haunted Harbour boat tour presented by Pirate Life and Haunted Walk. Now, as usual, if I've missed anything, please leave all your questions, comments, concerns, everything below. It's really helpful to other travelers because, you know, they may have the same questions as you. It's helpful also to me because, you know, then I know what to include in future videos. It also helps with YouTube's algorithm to kind of spread this to other people across YouTube. Please also consider subscribing to the channel. It's completely free for you. There's a button right down there in the corner. Really helps me out to keep delivering this free content to you. I have a lot of other sort of things to do in Toronto, if that's what you're looking for. You know, we just did a video at Medieval Times, for example. I did some videos last year of other creepy things to do, like Casa, Loma, Halloween Haunted Wonderland. We have some more videos upcoming that I have planned for you guys, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of those. Once again, this is Daniel with Spotlight. Happy spooky season. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.